Welcome back to the Count Centre here in Castleknock. The IFA elections, after a short break, they're back counting again. Some clear trends emerging. At the moment, they're concentrating especially in Munster because there's a regional chair election in Munster and they need to have the full results of the presidential election in Munster before they can begin the regional chair election. I'll explain that later. It's an arcane system. But in terms of the trend in Munster, Joe Healy is doing really well in places like North Cork and Clare, and that's very good news for him. Flor McCarthy naturally is doing extremely well in West Cork and Kerry. He's cleaning them both out. For Henry Burns, it's tougher ground. He's getting some votes in Tipperary, but I think the reality is that we'll only see how Henry's going to do when we start to catch up around the rest of the country. They are counting in every county in Ireland, but they're concentrating, as I say, on Munster. We've about half the votes in Munster counted now. At this stage, Joe Healy has a commanding lead. He's on about 2,800, with Henry and Flora about 1,000 votes back. In the rest of the country, they're on about 12-15% of the votes counted. In the deputy presidential race, Richard Kennedy is polling about 50%, but again, because of the weighting towards Munster at the moment, he's from Limerick, that's natural. Pat Farrell and Nigel Renahan are neck and neck. Pat Farrell's doing well in Leinster. Nigel's getting votes all over the place. I suppose the big question is whether the West can break for either of them. They need to outpoll Richard probably 2-1 in the West, one or other of them, to break it. Pat Farrell would be the more likely to do that. We'll have to see how that happens. In terms of that regional chair in Munster, there are two candidates, Johnny O'Brien from Cork Central and John Coughlin from North Cork. The way it works is the branch officers have voted some weeks ago, and the county executive officers in each of the counties in Munster. And how the branch votes will be counted is on that weighted basis that was the old system. In other words, the branch officers for, say, the branch of Bantry, for every 25 people who vote in that branch vote, the branch officer's vote will count for one vote. So if there's 35 in Bantry, that's 2 votes, 2 each for those branch officers. That's the chairman, the secretary, the returning officer and the 4th delegate. They're the 4 people who go to the county executive or are invited to the county executive every month. The same will be repeated around every other branch. If it's over 50 people who attend a branch vote, they get 3 votes each. If it's over 75, 4 votes each, and so forth. So there was a lot of effort to try and get the vote out. At the moment, the tallymen for Jonathan O'Brien and for John Coughlin are checking the turnout and waiting to see how that will be, and then we'll break into the actual count. That'll be the first result we'll get. That'll be mid-afternoon, and we'll bring you more information then.